and welcome back to another top 10 list. I am Timmy Treacle, also known as Horror Fan for Life. I'm giving you my top 10 favorite Dan Aykroyd movies. Dan Aykroyd got his start on Saturday Night Live, and from there, his career just took off. He was huge in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and somewhat to early 2000s. Not only was he an actor, but a singer. He toured with the Blues Brothers, comprised of him and another SNL alum, John Belushi. Rest in peace, by the way. They were a great combination. But Dan Aykroyd is a great writer and actor. He done some couple collaborations with Harold Ramis, also rest in peace. And he's done a lot of great movies, in my opinion, over the years. Mainly most early in his career, but nonetheless, I love Dan Aykroyd. He continues to act to this day, usually small roles. He hasn't had a lot of leading roles here in the last decade, but he's still one of my favorites. And yeah, here are my top 10 favorite Dan Aykroyd movies. Coming number 10 is Neighbors. Neighbors stars him and John Belushi. They will team up to do a couple other movies together, one of which is on my top 10 list, but further down. But Neighbors is about John Belushi's character and his wife. They live out in the middle of nowhere, and there's new next door neighbors moving in. And wouldn't you know it, it was Dan Aykroyd and his wife. And it's one entire night that they continuously mess with Belushi, and his wife and daughter are in on it too. They just continuously just mess with him, and he thinks his neighbors are up to no good. He thinks they're thieves. They're bad people, and it is just a hilarious movie. I think it's underrated, in my opinion. Not a lot of people know about it. I don't think it got a very wide theatrical release, if any at all. But it is a very funny movie. It's one I highly recommend. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out Neighbors. And don't get it confused with the movies that come out here with Seth Rogen and Zac Efron. Different movie. Coming to number 9 is Spies Like Us. This is a movie that stars, again, Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase. They are mistaken and sent to spy school, and they find themselves in a lot of trouble. I'm not going to give away the movie because I want you to watch it, but they find themselves in one situation where they're pretending to be doctors, and there's a classic scene in there when they're inside a tent, and Dan Aykroyd's wife, who was in the movie, the classic scene in there, it is hilarious. They're introducing themselves as doctor, and it's a repetitive thing where they say, doctor, 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 as they're introducing themselves to the other doctors, and it's just a classic scene. This is a funny movie. Again, I think this one is underrated, but definitely check out Spies Like Us. You will enjoy this movie for sure, and there's a lot of laughs in there. They actually did a little parody of this on Family Guy. I believe it was called Spies Like Us, the episode is. So definitely check that out as well. Coming number 8 is Coneheads. Now, this movie, along with another movie on my list, is based off Saturday Night Live characters. Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd played these aliens called the Coneheads, and they got their feature-length movie, I believe it was 1993, if I'm not mistaken, and it starred a lot of Saturday Night Live alum, Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Farley. There's a whole bunch of people in this movie, and it's a great movie. It is about two aliens who crash land on Earth, and they're forced to get jobs like anybody else was. He ends up working with Sinbad in his repair shop that repairs engines, pretty much anything electrical or with a motor. And from there, he's being chased by David Spade, um, along with some other people. And it's one crazy pursuit. Eventually, they end up having a kid and moving to the suburbs where he's a taxi driver, then he's a driver's ed instructor. But they have these cone shaped heads, and they eat a lot of mass quantities of food. And they sleep standing up, which is great. But this is a funny movie. Definitely check out Coneheads at number 8. Number 7 is The Great Outdoors, starring Dan Aykroyd and John Candy. This is, again, another underrated movie. For some reason, it had mixed reviews from critics. I don't understand why. This is really funny. Dan Aykroyd is really obnoxious snob in this movie. And John Candy plays this classic big old teddy bear, but at the same time just wants to knock the crap out of him. And it's a simple movie. John Candy's family is on vacation. He's taking them back to the cabin where him and his dad and family had a great time. And Aykroyd's family shows up uninvited to spend a vacation with him as well. And from there, it's one funny moment after another. There's a scene that involves bears, which is funny too. Actually, a couple scenes with bears. And there are some talking animals in this movie. Well, there's subtitles anyway. But you'll enjoy this. It's funny for the whole family. Definitely check out The Great Outdoors. And there's a scene where he eats something big. It's called the Old 96er. So definitely check out the movie. Coming number 6 is Sgt Bilko. Steve Martin stars alongside Dan Aykroyd. They are in the armed forces, but Bilko runs the place like it's his own and gambles and does all these things he's not supposed to. And this one master sergeant comes in and tries to foil his good time and catch him in the act of misusing funds. And Phil Hartman, rest in peace, is the gentleman who's trying to do that. It's got a young Chris Rock, and many others in this movie, but it's really funny, and it's one of Steve Martin's best movies as well, in my opinion. But definitely check out Sgt Bilko. It's a funny movie. Number 5 is Nothing But Trouble. This movie here received many negative reviews upon its release, but has since then become a cult film. It stars Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, Dan Aykroyd, with appearances by Tupac and his group, I would say, and John Candy. It's a great movie. It's funny. It's about this messed up family that if they catch you speeding or breaking the law, basically they'll either kill you or you'll become part of the family. John Candy plays 2 roles in this movie. So does Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, and the rest of the cast are really funny. This is a movie I highly recommend. It's very underrated and has since then, like I said, become a cult classic. Coming number 4 is My Girl. I love this movie. It is a tearjerker movie. Don't get me started about the sequel. It should have never been made. This movie is starring Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Macaulay Culkin. I'm having a hard time remembering her name, but little girl, I can't remember her name. But this is a great movie. really heartwarming. It's about crushes, and um, it has to center around Veda Sultanfus, who is the daughter to Dan Aykroyd's character, and they live in a funeral home. And she's constantly coming up with new things that she thinks she has, and her mom's no longer with them. She passed. The grandmother lives with them, where she is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. But this is a funny movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is sweet, but the relationship between the two kids, just amazing. And it is a tear-jerking movie. Anytime I watch it, I tear up because I love these characters. Um, and each one of us can relate to losing someone that's really special to us, whether it's family or friend. And it's just it's a great movie. One I highly recommend that you check out. You can leave the sequel alone, but this movie is phenomenal. Number 3 is Who You Gonna Call? Ghostbusters! Yes, Ghostbusters, 1984. Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, Rick Moranis, Sigourney Weaver, Annie Potts. Fantastic movie. It's about it starts off with 3 friends who decide to go into the paranormal business. They buy a vehicle, they get a building, and they start capturing ghosts. And what the hell am I explaining it for? If you haven't seen Ghostbusters, then you've got a serious problem. It is a classic. It is one of the best movies, I believe, in all time. It's definitely one of the best comedies. But not a lot of people know some trivia for you. This movie was initially supposed to star John Belushi as Peter Venkman, because the role was written for him. But sadly, he passed away before they could start shooting in 1983 of a drug overdose. And so the role went to Bill Murray. And I'm not taking anything away from Bill Murray. He delivers like he always does. And then the role of where Rick Moranis was playing was supposed to be John Candy, but he had a conflict between him and some of the producers and writers, and ultimately he didn't like the way the character was going to be portrayed. He wanted to do it another way, so he was replaced by Rick Moranis. But you can see John Candy in the video for the Ghostbusters song. And like I said, you won't see John Belushi because they didn't even start filming that yet, or doing anything with the movie just yet before he died. But rest in peace, by the way, again, John Belushi. But yeah, number 3, Ghostbusters, excellent movie. Coming in number 2 is Trading Places. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Holm Elliott, Paul Gleason. Nothing else needs to be said. This is a great Christmas movie comedy, and it is a Christmas movie because it takes place during Christmas. But it's about a privileged guy with a great job, Winthorpe, played by Dan Aykroyd, who's going to be getting married to Penelope, and his bosses, who are billionaires, want to find out if they can put him in the poorhouse while taking some guy off the street and making him run the company, and to see if he can be as successful or better than Winthorpe. And that's where Eddie Murphy's character comes in, Billy Ray Valentine. And so they pull him off the streets, and they basically switch roles. But the thing is, they make a bet whether or not they can do it for $1. They want to ruin Winthorpe's life over $1. And from there, there's nonstop laughs. Both Eddie and Dan Aykroyd, along with Jamie Lee Curtis, who has a fantastic scene in this movie, not only for just how gorgeous she is, but because she is topless in this movie. It is a gorgeous 10 seconds. But all that aside, they're all great in this movie. It's a funny movie, and I love the third act. The twist, what they do to the two bosses is great. Definitely check out Trading Places if you haven't seen it. It is a classic. It is one of the best movies, not only the 1980s, but period. So definitely check it out. And my number one favorite Dan Aykroyd movie is The Blues Brothers. Yes, The Blues Brothers is based off their Saturday Night Live characters. Again, this is the second movie on my list that revolves around SNL characters. And Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi are amazing in this movie. Uh, uh, it is about uh, Jake Blues, who is in prison, and Elwood goes to pick him up as he's being paroled and let go. And from there, they want to get the band back together, get back on the road, make some money to save this orphanage from where they're known from. And you have all kinds of great cameos and singers in this movie. Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, both rest in peace. You have John Candy, again, rest in peace. Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. Oh, man, it's a great movie. And that's pretty much what it's about. They want to get their band back together, they raise some money to save this orphanage. And all the while, they're being chased by cops and a lot of other people that want to see them dead. Illinois Nazis, for one. Carrie Fisher wants them dead for a specific reason, which I will not explain because I want you to watch the movie. Again, I highly recommend that you check out The Blues Brothers. It is a fantastic movie. And yeah, there you have it. That is my top 10 favorite Dan Aykroyd movies. In the comment section below, give me your top 10 favorite Dan Aykroyd movies. Or if you don't have a top 10, just give me some of your favorite Dan Aykroyd movies. Let me know. Did you agree with my list? Did you not agree with it? Let me know in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and let's be friends. Let's talk about movies, TV shows, and I even do my top 10 favorite list when it comes to some of my favorite music artists. So look forward to those videos and many more. I thank you guys for watching and subscribing to my channel and supporting it. And other than that, I thank you for watching, and check you later.